We are live. This is going to be awesome. Please welcome me and Mary Gaston. I know it says Haston, but she was in a hurry and she misspelled her own name.
That happens.
So, Mary, we were just talking in the green room a little bit, and I'm really excited about this because a lot of the people, like your question and your challenge is not unique. If you're not an expert, so to speak, I mean, you are an expert, but when we say expert in the online space, what we mean is somebody who has a program or a course. You know, if you're not that, if you're working locally, if you're in network marketing or an MLM, there are people who are saying to themselves, how does what you're teaching apply to me? And I didn't even really realize that we were going to get an opportunity to talk about that today. So I'm really excited. Let me just quickly pull up on my phone the broadcast here so I can see people's comments. So if you'll give me just 1 second before we dive in.
Oh, no problem. Okay. And I really credit you during one of the live broadcasts that you did. You talked about people following their heart and wanting to help people, and that just really gave me some direction.
That's so good,
because it reminded me that that's where my heart is. I just want to help people.
Yeah, and I think most of us are like that. And I won't get too far up on my soapbox, but I think that the marketing industry kind of preys on that a little bit. You know, especially the internet marketing industry. So if you're here, if you're on the call, say hi or drop an emoji or something. Don't be a wallflower. Let us know you're here. We love engagement. We love interaction, obviously. And so you want to work today. You want a hot seat on how can the stuff that I'm teaching apply to you, since you're not like a course or product service offering type of expert.
Right. Yeah. You had mentioned that on today's call that, this whole month is going to be on that topic, and, and just trying to apply the information effectively.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you did. So Allison's here. Hi, Allison. The stuff that if you want to find clients through social media, there are certain things that you have to do. And you've been in the program a while, so that you know that, like, I talk about content creation, and I talk about like your positioning and your core brand story. And then for you, I imagine, hey, Mark, it probably everything took a sharp left because now I'm talking about, program design, and you're kind of like, right. So if you want to work local, and or if you have, like I said, an affiliate or an MLM kind of a thing, some of the rules don't change. You've got to figure out a way to attract people to you. Right. You got that part right because you've covered the content boosting. You were here for that. Yeah. What you may not know is that when it comes to content boosting, you can do what's called geo-targeting. And this, I'm just going to say this publicly, but this is like one of the biggest missed opportunities in digital marketing. Because if you limit your targeting, your boosting to a specific geographical range, first of all, because the population is so small, the price drops to effing pennies. Like it's nothing. Right. And you can be top of mind for people. So what you would do is you would do the same strategy I taught, where you're not selling in your videos. You're just making people aware of you. Yeah. And then since you're boosting from your page would have all of your contact information on it. Mm-hmm. And in your case, you want to help people with their finances. Right. Okay. Really, really simple. What I would suggest you do is follow the content boosting strategy from the page. And I think for those watching, I'll go through it real quick, but I'm going to give you the advice first. Okay. Follow all of the picking the right target. So you want to go by demographic, you want to go by income, all the things that fit your perfect
and
clients,
those 65
right?
plus. Yeah, those 65 plus would apply in my case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so perfect. So you pick that, right? You pick your age ranges and all those things. And then you just keep showing up, adding value, letting people get to know you. This is interesting because it's doubly effective with people older than a certain age. Right. Even more so for my generation and the one before me, we're going to need to feel like we trust you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're the one showing up, offering suggestions and value without ever pitching, then one of two things happens. Either we go to your page and we learn about you, right? This is the equivalent of being able to put up bulletin boards all over the city.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I joined the Chamber of Commerce this morning, and with that I get a free local print ad and a free digital ad, and and so I kind of want to mirror all that together.
Yeah. The first thing I would do is I would just start picking a geographical range within which you'd like to work. Maybe it's 50 miles in every direction from your home or something like that.
Right.
And you can do that in the targeting in Facebook on your page. It'll allow you to target geographically. And I want to share a story with you from the guy who taught me the boosting thing that I then used, and it worked for me too. So he was telling me that one time he was speaking at an event, and he was worried he wasn't really well known at that event, right? And so he took his best content, his best already boosted videos, the ones from his library that had performed the best, and he just like flooded the geographical region of the place he was speaking for about 2 weeks. Then
so by the time he got there, they knew him.
Yeah. So then 3 days before he spoke, he narrowed it down to just 10 miles from the hotel in any direction. And then the day he spoke, he like literally just the hotel and a mile around it.
Right.
And by the time he walked up on stage, and when they announced his name, he got a standing ovation. Because everybody's just like, this guy's everywhere. This guy's all over the place. Then I did it. I did that same thing right before COVID on a much smaller scale. I was speaking at a smaller engagement. Hey, Tina. And I only had 4 days to pepper the audience with content. And all through the event, I got people coming up to me going, you're the branding guy, right? You're the personal branding guy, right? And it absolutely works, is my point.
Yeah.
It absolutely works. So when I teach the boosting strategy, I'm teaching to boost to an audience of 5 to 15 million. And I'm still thinking you only should expect to spend about $300 a month. So to just rain down on your local area should probably be $25 a month.
Yeah, because I'm talking 30,000 people in my community. So
yeah. And then how far can you work from where you live? Can you work online with people?
Probably some, but the majority of my client base, I think, would require in person, and probably once or twice a month for like an hour at a shot.
Okay.
And but I'm close enough to like St. Louis to where I could incorporate that area in, and it's a bigger community. But my local community, if I was keeping it local, it's very highly populated with senior citizens and people that are no longer able to take care of everything themselves and could really benefit from someone coming in and just doing it. And I got this because I've been taking care of all my mom's paperwork for years. And then I lost my sister. She died of lung cancer last year, and she had like piles of mail. It was like 3 foot high, went through all of her bills, went through all of her insurance, took care of every administrative thing you can imagine. So the name of my company is Administrative Assistance by MG, which is Mary Gaston. And, I can do the business side, but right now my passion is really helping the individuals.
Great. I would suggest using the geographical region that is the furthest you'd be willing to drive, because you do want as big a population as you can get, obviously.
Right.
And just have a simple, clear call to action on your business page.
Okay.
You know, for an assessment call, for an introductory call, book here.
Right.
Really simple. Remember too, especially if you're targeting seniors, we don't want to give them anything too tricky, right? Because they're not of the generation that's like trying to solve all the tech problems.
Most of the seniors that I know have finally learned how to log into Facebook, and they can click like.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
But outside of it, it's a bit of a threat.
So that's how simple you want to keep it.
Right.
Yeah. And then your actual strategy then, so you got a really clean, easy to understand business page. You're boosting content that shows examples of how you've helped people and just gives tips, right? It's just tips and examples, and you're just sort of really gently positioning your expertise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I think in your case,
like, 4 or 5 references and reviews already that I added to my website that I could incorporate into my page.
Yeah. And do that, like and make it so they don't have to scroll to see those reviews.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and like, that's it. That's the whole game plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I'm participating in the weekly calls and we're strategizing, I'm putting together modules and things like that, I benefit from participating, but I feel guilty when it's like, no, I can't commit to that. I can't raise my hand. And yet I want to.
Yeah.
So
for that, you just keep doing what you're doing. Show up. And there is a way that we can apply that to you. But the thing is that, so for those of you watching who don't know, in the Wolfpack, my membership marketing academy, we're doing program design right now. And Mary's struggle has been that she doesn't really need a program. She just has a host of professional, support services she does. Yeah. So, but you could start to generally break those services up into different groups based on what people are most likely to need together.
Yeah.
That would be
because right now I think I'm too broad. Yeah, I think I'm too broad right now because I'm willing to do almost anything, to help people.
Right.
So
yeah. And so, you might have something where it's like most common packages.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks so much for making time for me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely. And I think that, like, if you just do just that, a simple, clean business page, boosting content to a geographical location with age selection and your other qualifying parameters. And I mean, really, if you're talking about 30,000, 40,000 people, you're going to spend literal pennies a day to be in front of them all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And it's inevitable that people will start reaching out to you. All right. Awesome.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. That's it, guys. Thank you so much.